All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to call this meeting to order of the Design and Historic Review Commission. I have the time as 10:09. First order of business is the consent agenda, which is consideration and approval of the August 20th DHRC meeting minutes. I assume everybody's had a chance since we received those in the email to look them over. Are there any questions or concerns? And if not, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I have a question on page 2. I think it's the third paragraph from the bottom. It says Chairman Stribling. On the page 2, third paragraph from the bottom.
You're muted, Shell. He is the chair of our PC, so it may have been a.
Yes, I'll make that correction, and I do apologize for that.
No problem.
Are there any other corrections or notes for that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, on the regular agenda, the first case is CA 20-05, 9 West Avenue N. Request for an approval of a certificate of appropriateness for an exterior circular driveway entrance with pavers and parking and a portable temporary freestanding sign at a historically designated building, St. Mary's Catholic Church, located at 9 West Avenue N. And with that, I'll turn it over to city staff.
Good morning. This is Sherry Bailey, Principal Planner. And I seem to have just a black screen. Are you all seeing a black screen also?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me try that again. Okay. There. Let's try this again.
There you go.
All right. Hopefully one more step and we can get this into all right. If I can go ahead with just the smaller rather than the full screen, I'd like to get started, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
As you indicated, what is before you is the request. It's actually a twofold request. It is for a circular driveway at the St. Mary Catholic Church, including a brick pathway, a gathering area, a parking area, and then a continued use of a temporary freestanding sign for events information. They have used it in the past, and rather than come in every single time, we suggested that they ask for a larger approval of that temporary sign. The location is 9 West Avenue N. The zoning in that area, the church has the entire block, and so they have mixed zoning. They have CGCH, which is general commercial, heavy commercial. They have neighborhood commercial. There's one small section of single family RS1 zoning also. It's in the Rio Vista neighborhood, and it's in District 3 for Mr. Thomas. In looking at the requests that they have brought forward, there are no major exterior building alterations to the request. Everything is going to be out on the west side. It's utilizing their existing driveway and parking lot, but they have for the past 20 years been planning on having a circular drive so that people could pull in, let people off, and then go park. Along that circular driveway, they have a brick pathway with a number of, it's red brick, it's a number of donor names on each one of those bricks, because they, as I said, they've been working on this for about 20 years. Then there's kind of some gathering area in there, and then some additional parking that will be on both sides of the circular pathway, mainly for handicap parking. But all of those things will have no effect on the exterior of the building. The only permanent change to the existing site right now would be to remove some of the soil and asphalt that's there. Even the existing concrete, which leads into that north entrance, will remain. And that concrete has some design that's embedded in it, and they wanted to make sure that they kept that design. The bricks were originally, you can see on the original plan, were intended to be more of a tile approach, but they have ended up with red brick that is close to the red that's also on the building, and able to put the donor name in that, and they feel very comfortable with that. They have also requested temporary signage, a continued use of that. They put it out whenever they're going to have an event. They usually put it out a week to 2 weeks in advance. An event, either a fundraiser or something happening at the church, they would like to have an overall approval of that. And you have granted that for Fort Concho and for the Railroad Museum and a couple of other places in the past. And again, as I've indicated, there's no changes that will be happening to the building itself. There should be no cleaning on the site because everything is going to be out in the asphalt area and to the west. There will be no archaeological effects to the area. The proposed changes will actually contribute to the look of the church and the entrance to the church on that west side, and we'll get to that fairly quickly. And if anything is removed, it will be restored to the original appearance. This is that west side of the church. Part of it shows on this picture of where that circular drive is going to be and the parking, but it's generally out in this area and that asphalt area and removing some of that grass area and the dirt area in the front. And then this should give you a better idea of what their view is and their image is on what their idea on how they want to have that. And you'll see the pathway here, that's where the red brick is located. And then these will be the handicap parking that are adjacent. And then looking at, this is their existing sign. It has always been placed back there. I'm sorry, was there a question? It's always been placed back on that north entrance area. They plan to put it there or occasionally put it on this asphalt right here. And to give you then a look at the architectural drawing that they had originally approved, you can see they come in to the existing parking lot. They'll bring the cars around this asphalt circular right in front of the entrance on that west side. Here is the parking that will be added and the parking over here. A lot of that grass area will be removed and the parking will be expanded. And then this is the north gathering area that will remain. Staff is recommending approval of the request for the new circular driveway, the brick pathway and gathering area. And we're also recommending approval of the long-term approval for the temporary sign, portable sign that they put out for special occasion. We are suggesting that there be 3 conditions of approval. Generally, that the color and dimensions and the materials are consistent with the renderings and the application that they have presented, with minor deviations being approved by the department director. The second one is the applicant shall obtain a building permit, and the applicant has already applied for that. And the third one is that the temporary portable sign can only be used for informational event advertisement and directional, and it must directly benefit St. Mary's Catholic Church. Given that, are there any questions?
I have a question. Can you bring up the site plan again?
Sure. You want the architectural one?
Yes,
This one? Okay.
yes. Okay, so that's trying to get my bearings here on this. This is,
Here's
Uh,
9th Avenue to the north right here. And their
Yeah.
driveway entrance is back here and you come in
Uh-huh.
through there.
so that parking that they're proposing, none of that's in a 30-foot side triangle anywhere, is it?
No, it is not.
Far enough back?
It is, yes. The corner is actually clear out here.
Okay, okay, I see. That's my only question.
Mhm.
Okay, other commissioners have questions? Ma'am, I have a question if no one else is ready. On the portable sign, I don't recall this coming up before, but is this essentially granting them an unlimited number of days they can use this sign?
No, and they normally do it, as I indicated, about 2 weeks at a time. It's not, it can't be a permanent, and it has to follow the city ordinance. It just would grant them so that every single time they wanted to do that, they wouldn't have to come back as long as it fit within this parameter.
They wouldn't have to come back to us, or they wouldn't have to get a sign permit?
No, they wouldn't have to, they can get a sign permit that would allow that use with that criteria.
Okay, so that would
Yeah,
still-
that's what I was gonna say. They still have
Yeah.
to get a sign permit and they
Right.
still have to follow the rules of the sign permitting process.
Okay,
It's
so it doesn't give them
get
any
a sign
authority or
permit.
freedom that nobody else.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right.
I have a question on that. Who regulates that? Who watches that? I mean, is there somebody that actually goes out and see how long the sign's out, or is it just,
Yes,
we just
sir.
do it on good faith? Or
They're issued a tag, and building permits would be able to speak to this a little bit more, but excuse me, they're issued a tag to put on their sign. It has a date on it. And so building permits, the inspectors are the ones that can see if the sign's been out of compliance. So St. Mary's has applied for a sign permit before, and we told them, hey, you're gonna have to have a DHRC approval. So it's mostly, I believe, around the Christmas holidays, they sell tamales to benefit the church. So that's
Right.
really what they want to use it for.
And their fiesta time, which is coming up shortly.
Okay.
Okay.
If none of the commissioners have any other questions at this point in time, is there any public comments? And if there are none, is there anything else, or do we need to go ahead and call for a motion? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, was that James? Or Henry?
I think it was James. He's muted now, but I think it was James that made the motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, then we will move on. Case CA 20-06-618. South Chadburn Street, a request for approval of certificate of appropriateness for a new approximately 12 square foot non-illuminated window sign on a building located within a historic district located at 618 South Chadburn Street. And with that, we'll turn it over to staff.
Good morning, Shelley Pascal, planner.
Good morning.
The property we're looking at is for a certificate of appropriateness for a new 12 square foot non-illuminated window sign. This is located within the Old Town District. It's Central Business District zoning. It's in the Fort Concho neighborhood, and it is within District 3 Harry Thomas. When looking at items placed on historic overlaid buildings, there's a couple of things we look at. We make sure there's no reasonable effort to minimize alterations. On this proposed sign, there will not be any major changes or alterations for this window sign. The maintenance of original features, the proposed sign on the location on the window would not result in any destruction or alteration of the original historic material. The proposed sign material and colors are designated to attract attention without being gaudy and with an intent to blend in with a traditional color palette. Is there a significant change over time? The proposed sign will blend in with the building and the surrounding areas, and the colors and materials with both the message and modern trends in the downtown San Angelo. As indicated, there will be no changes to the existing features of the building for this proposed sign. The applicant is proposing there to be no exterior building alterations as part of this request, and this sign does face South Chadbourne. Staff, we do not anticipate any rigorous forms of cleaning. There does not appear to be any archaeological resources in this area that would be affected by the proposed sign. The proposed changes does not destroy any significant historical material. And also, if the sign was removed, the building would remain as it was. I wanted to show you a couple of photos. This is the subject property, and the sign will be placed on this window above this bench. This was the original sign that was there, and in April 2020, during that windstorm, this was the damage that was caused. So they're basically replacing this window, adding 2 logos on either side. This is a tenant of a COSA building, and it's a 3x4 with lettering, seal, and phone number. And it will be vinyl lettering. And as I stated, it did exist until April 11th, 2020, and it was destroyed during a hailstorm. The only addition is they're adding the 2 seals on either side. City staff, we are recommending approval of 2006 for a new sign, subject to the following 2 conditions: that the colors, dimensions, and materials of the sign shall be consistent with the renderings approved by the DHRC. Any minor deviations can be approved by the director, and the applicant shall obtain any building permits required for this sign. Is there any questions?
I have a question. I
Yes, sir.
may be wrong. I thought, so are we voting on the design of the sign or the where they're putting it? Because I thought when a sign was put on a glass window that it didn't have to have approval, or didn't have to have a.
The reason it needs approval is because it is within a historically overlaid district.
Okay.
And so it's within a historically overlaid, and that's why it needs approval.
Okay, so it's basically the design of the sign, not where it's being applied.
Well, and if this had been River Corridor, this could have been done administratively. Because a certificate of appropriateness is required, those have an administrative function. So again, this is a very minor sign on a building. It's not looking to affect any portions of the building. It's going on glass. So it's just the certificate of appropriateness required the board's approval.
Okay. That's all I had.
Any other questions or public comment at this time? And commissioners have any further questions for staff? If not, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve as presented by staff.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye, please. Aye.
Was that Clay on the second?
Yeah.
Yes. All opposed, same sign. All right, we'll move forward. My understanding is that case C DD 2011 is going to need to be postponed because we will not have a quorum for that.
No, that will be DD 20 2016.
I'm sorry, I got the numbers wrong. Yeah, it's 2016 that will be postponed. So
You know
DD,
what? You didn't get the numbers wrong. I was reading my notes wrong. I think
Okay.
my question is, DD 2011 is where we actually have applicants that are here. Are they going to be where they're available for questions
yes.
or want to comment? Okay, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. All right, so DD 2011 is 109 North Chadbourn, a request for downtown district overlay approval of an amendment to an approved case by adding different windows and changing the location of the door located at 109 North Chadbourn Street. And with that, we'll turn it over to staff.
Okay. As you may recall, we actually heard this case back in June of 2020. And we're looking at, they're wanting to change a couple of different things. On this request, they're wanting to change the window size, change the location of the door, and remove the previously approved awning. This is within the district or the downtown district overlay, central business district, downtown neighborhood, and District 3 Harry Thomas. This is the existing property located at 109 North Chadbourn. And as you can see here, this was the previously approved June 18th, 2020. It did have the awning, the windows, the door, the light fixtures, and the sign was also approved back in June. Their proposal is to keep it the same proposed color that was previously approved, which is the butch paper, which is basically a dark tan. This was the previously approved sign that they will be continuing to use on the same project. On the amendments, as you can see, the door location is getting moved further south. It was really closer into this area. And the proposed windows are now 8x5, where they were 7, I do believe 7x5, 7x4. I can double check that. And the proposed trim is the black as it was before, and the location of the door is going to change.
Oh,
I'm sorry, was there a question? Okay. The River Corridor Master Development Plan states that larger windows, prominent entryways, awnings, and canopies should be used where possible. And these new windows will promote the increase for activity for the new business. First level windows and doors should be clear and transparent, and the current proposed windows and doors are proposed to be transparent, which is consistent. City staff, we are recommending approval of this case subject to 4 conditions. The colors, dimensions, and materials shall be consistent with the renderings approved by the DHRC. Minor adjustments can be approved by the Planning and Development Services Director. All glass within the proposed windows and doors shall be transparent. The applicant should obtain any permits required for this proposed improvement, and any improvements projecting into the right-of-way shall receive approval from City Council where required. Any questions?
So again, just for clarification, they are removing the previously approved awning, moving the door, and the windows are becoming about 1 foot larger.
All right, anybody have any further questions for staff? Okay, at this time, we'll open up for public comments. Now, are you going?
Shell, yeah, Shell, can you stop sharing your screen so we can see? Would any of the people that are here for this case like to speak? Ms. Richardson or Mr. Sanchez?
Or are they just
Hi, this is
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Jen Richardson. The only thing I wanted to just comment in is that the fact that we're no longer, doing the awning, it gave us the opportunity to increase the window size, and then moving the door from the right to the left just made more aesthetic sense to us, giving people more room to easier access into the building.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further?
I have a question for the applicant. So y'all aren't planning on putting any kind of awning over the front doors? I'm just wondering on a venue like that, if it's raining or people are leaving and loading cars, wouldn't it? It just seemed like you would need some type of awning over that, especially since it's a venue like that for parties. And I mean, that's just my question.
Yeah,
seems like wide open.
I think that's a great question. Such a valid point. For my brother and sister, just trying to find a contractor and getting the details of the awning. And they just felt like, you know what, it's just, I think they're just wanting to get the work started and done. And so if need be, we'll revisit it later at some point. But I think at this point, they're just anxious to at least get something started and make some progress to the improvement.
No, I understand. That's my only comment.
Thank you. Good point.
Okay, anyone have anything further? If not, then we'll entertain a motion on this one.
Make the
I make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that one passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Pam. Thank you for participating. All right, we're moving on to DD 20-14, 119A West Twohig Avenue, a request for downtown district overlay approval of a new 64 square foot internally illuminated wall sign located at 119A West Twohig Avenue. We'll turn that over to staff.
Okay, we are looking at a 64 square foot internally illuminated wall sign. It is located within the downtown district overlay. It is central business district zoning. It's also in District 3 Harry Thomas. This is the existing subject property. As you can see, they've got a lot of signage and a lot of going on. They're going to be replacing this large sign on the top. And I just wanted to show kind of what we have approved administratively. These are the window and door sign that was approved in August 2020 by the planning manager. As you can see, it kind of declutters some and simplifies and shows, you know, what is going on in this business or in this building. This is the proposed illuminated wall sign. The background is bright white with illuminated being a white LED. The colors of the proposed sign are both navy blue, aqua blue, and there is some white. It is 16 by 4 feet, and it is within a aluminum cabinet. And they do go hand in hand with the approved window and door signs. The River Corridor Master Development Plan states that a sense of entry should be incorporated into the development by using signage. Therefore, this new sign, allows passerbyers to know what's contained within this building and draw attention to the entry. It also states that sign and awnings, which are color coordinated, can be used to introduce brighter and more intense color. This is an internally lit sign that will coordinate and complement the already approved proposed window and door signs. City staff, we are recommending approval subject to 2 conditions of approval. The color dimensions and materials shall be consistent with the renderings approved by the DHRC. Any minor deviations may be approved by the planning director. And the applicant shall obtain any building permits from the permits division. Any questions?
I have a question. So all of the signs that are, when they redo the windows, are they going to put all those painted signs back on the windows too?
No, sir. They will be just these. These signs are the ones that were approved administratively.
Okay. Okay, so that'll be the new signs.
Correct. And the only reason the size of the wall sign on top is the reason, it could not go administratively.
Yes.
Well, and we thought this whole package really cleaned up the look of the signage along the front of the building. So
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Okay, that's my only question.
Okay. Any other public comment or discussion? And any of the commissioners have any further questions for staff or discussion? If not, I would say it's time to open up for a motion to approve.
I move.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Who was the second?
Me.
Okay.
Any opposed, same sign, please. All right. Okay, and that puts us to 20-16, which we need to table. Correct?
That is correct.
All right, and so we will move on to DD 20-18, 221 South Irving Street, a request for downtown district overlay approval of a new 80 square foot freestanding sign located at 221 South Irving Street. And we'll turn it over to staff.
Okay. We are looking at a, as you stated, 80 square foot freestanding sign located at 221 South Irving, Central Business District zoning. It is within the downtown neighborhood, District 3, Harry Thomas. This is existing business located there. The proposed sign is going to be located within this rocked area here. There has been an increase in tenants on the subject property, therefore they're anticipating an increase in client traffic. This sign is a directional sign to help facilitate the parking because there is more parking in the rear. It is 8 foot by 10 foot wide, and it is made of metal and steel, and the colors are brown and tan. The River Corridor Master Development Plan states that signs should be used to enhance through enhanced through the use of simple but effective landscaping. And in this area, there is existing xeriscaping. There's yuccas and a couple of different xeriscape grasses and rocks. And the simple layout of this proposed sign will ensure that the sign is the focal point. The Development Master Plan also states that vehicle access and the parking should be provided by a street or a side street. And most of the parking for this subject property is actually located at the rear of the building. And they're wanting this sign to illustrate that so there's less congestion there on Concho and South Irving. Signs should be incorporated into the architecture of the building. The sign will tie into the building. The building does have steel and metal incorporated as accent elements into the of this building. And a sense of entry should be incorporated with the development by using signage and landscaping. And where this new sign will go, it will allow the public to understand the use contained there within and draw attention to the extra parking in the rear of the building. City staff, we are recommend approval of DD 2018, subject to 3 conditions. The colors, dimensions, and material shall be consistent with the renderings approved by DHRC. Any minor deviations may be approved by the planning director. Same as always, that they shall obtain building permits from the permits division. And the location of the sign needs to be a minimum of 3 feet from the property line to ensure vehicular vision clearance. Any questions?
Anybody?
I've got a question. Will there be any lights like down below to shine up on the sign, or is it nothing like that?
that was not presented to us, but I believe Matt Lewis is on the call, so he might be able to better show you the intent from the applicant side.
Sure. Can you hear me okay, David?
Yes.
No, there is no planned uplighting on that side. We don't have any power over on that part of where we're proposing the sign. There is a wall pack light pack already on the opposite side of the building, which does illuminate that whole area. And there is streetlight signage in that area, but all of these offices are closed in the evening when the sun is down. So, we really don't see the need to provide uplighting on that one space.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right, anything further? Any public comment? Nobody else has anything further. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Terrific. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And that carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that moves us on to a division report, if there is one.
Yeah, well, let me say we appreciate you all being here again. The orders have been extended to do virtual meetings, but we are waiting to see if it'll extend another month to go into your next meeting. So we will keep you up to date. With that being said, I know we had a case today we were not able to have quorum for. So Shelley had sent out an email. Please check your calendars. We're trying to see if we can move the October date up just a little bit so that applicant's not having to wait a whole nother month. So please check October 1st, October 8th. And if not, we'll have to go with October 15th. So please look ahead and get with Shelley, let her know exactly what your calendar looks like for the upcoming weeks. And that'll be it.
Okay, great. All right, as far as announcements, the next regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission is scheduled at this point to begin on Thursday, October 15th at 10 a.m. 2020. It could either be via Zoom or the East Reception Room, City Hall, and I assume all public notices will be made if we move that meeting forward. With that, I guess it's time to adjourn, and I will make a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.